Hey guys, this is Matthew coming at you with a new video. We are going to interview Josh, who is a longtime friend who was a roofer for a period of time. So Josh, want to give us some background on who you are and eventually how you got into roofing?
Yeah, my name's Joshua Beckham, and I was born in Portland, Oregon, and I've kind of lived for the most part in the northwest corner of Oregon my whole life, and met this guy when I was 17. I think, well, you were about 17 as well.
Yeah, somewhere in there. We were doing church. Kind of stressful time.
And yeah, we worked together as well, like two different times, in 2015 and also 2018 as well. So I ended up leaving landscaping, working with him in September of 2018, and started roofing. And I did that up until just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so how much money can a roofer expect to make compared to Subway or flipping burgers? Is it like 12 bucks an hour or like $7 an hour if you're in Indiana where the minimum wage is all jacked up?
Definitely not. Nobody would ever do roofing if you got paid that little. Like here in Oregon, you can make a lot of money doing roofing. Like I would often make like $1,200 a week doing roofing, and
that's solid.
Yeah, it's a lot dependent on how fast your crew is able to get done with the work, because you normally don't get paid hourly, you get paid by the job. And if you can knock out 3 houses in a week, which is kind of rare, but sometimes you can make a lot of money. Like you can make close to $2,000 a week. Or if you're only doing 1 house in a week, you might only make $600 or $700 a week.
So if you're just starting, then you can expect your portion of the payment to be a little bit less, right?
Yes. So often how it works is the company that does the bids for the job, and they often like insure the trucks and the trailers and make sure you have like all the heavier equipment. They pay your roofing crew leader a certain amount of money for doing the roof, and then
Do you know that amount, or does he just kind of give you your part?
You don't really know the amount, but if you have a pretty even crew, often the foreman will like divvy it up evenly. But if you have like some really experienced guys and some guys who are brand new, then he'll kind of like divvy up the money by how he sees fit. But still, even if you only get a small portion, you're still going to be making more money than we're making at Subway, that's for sure.
Nice. Now, what qualifications do you need to be a roofer?
Qualifications would not a fear of heights. You don't want that. So not being afraid of heights. You got to be strong, and they want work experience of at least of other physical jobs where you've proven that you can handle it. But sometimes you got to do a little bit more. Like I worked for a while with the company that does like all the bids and stuff. They were also doing repairs and cleanings for the houses that had already been had the roofs put on by the crews. And so I learned a lot from that, and you often learn some extra skills doing that.
I see. Now, roofing, can you do it forever, or were you working with guys who were 70, or were they more like 30 and their bodies were breaking down?
You definitely can't do it forever. If you're doing it for over 20 years, definitely asking for trouble. But of course, there's ways of working around that. And unfortunately, a lot of the guys, had spent a lot of time like drinking and things like that, and not being good on their bodies. So the high stress on their body and not taking care of it definitely hurt it, and they would like medicate with marijuana. But
yeah, you had to ride in some cars that were nice and clouded up, right?
Every once in a while. But I mean, a lot of them don't do that though. There's like the actual roofing crew I was on was very professional, and the guys were still in good shape because they had been doing it for like 5 to 10 years for the most part. So
but when you saw them, when you were meeting with them, Did it make you want to be 35 in roofing, or did you see it as a stepping stone?
More as a stepping stone. I mean, after like 5 or 10 years, you can pretty easily be a crew leader, and then you can or you could go the other way and you can start your own roofing company and do bids and, you know, make sure the trucks are all working right and everything, and that's not very taxing on your body. It's not that hard, just takes a little bit of ambition and a little bit of business know-how.
What kind of wear and tear does roofing take on your body?
It definitely takes its toll. It would be good to like make sure to have a good base beforehand. Like if you go to the gym, like doing deadlifts and things like that would definitely help.
So if you're just CrossFitting, then you probably need to get some upper body, right?
Well, you do a fair amount of upper body with CrossFit, but
oh, come on.
but CrossFit aside, which I hate, but I mean, you're gonna have a lot of pressure on your lower back. So if you're taller, it might not be the best for you because you have to bend over more, because there's a lot of bending over on roofing, because you basically gotta, you know, lay stuff down, you know, right in front of you, you know, on the base where you're stepping on. So.
Right, and so for me, I'm over 6 foot. So for me, for example, I probably should look at something else. If you guys are like 5'10" or below, if you're basically astronaut size, then you should look at it. What's a normal day in the life of a roofer for you? Did you wake up at 5 a.m. or what was it like?
Normally we get to the yard at about 7. So, you know, we would just get the truck ready with all the materials we needed for the day, whatever tools we needed, get that loaded up, drive to the job, and then we would, you know, get our rope set up. Got to make sure you stay safe, although oftentimes we would not wear our ropes. But yeah, so you start off with tearing off what was originally on the roof, unless it's just a completely new house. And so often that's shingles, or it could be tile or shakes or metal, but normally the tear off is the hardest part, especially if it's shingles. And you got to tear all the shingles off, all the metal, and all the
do you leave the nails, or take all the nails,
you
all that
definitely
stuff?
take out all the nails, and that can be really tedious. After that, you replace any rotten plywood if the roof has plywood. Then you put on felt paper, which is the easiest part, but that doesn't mean it's super easy. You got to make sure it's completely flat, you know, so the shingles are flat on top of it. And then
you glue the shingles on, or how does that work?
Well, you got to nail down the shingles, 4 to 5 nails on each, and of course you'll learn how that works.
So a lot of hammering and
well, you normally
laying
have
down.
nail guns, but
okay.
You put the paper down, then you put the metal on the edges, then you put the shingles. And fortunately, most of the time you don't have to bring up the shingles yourself. Normally a crane truck does that, but on the rare occasions you do have to bring the shingles up the ladder. It is a bad day.
Yeah, so that could get your lower back. Now, how was your boss and the people you worked with, but mainly your boss, how did he treat you guys?
Well, I guess I'll start with the lesser question. The people I work with, normally really good. There's normally a lot of camaraderie. I worked with a lot of Hispanic people, which is often really fun. You know, they're good people to be around. The bosses are normally pretty good, especially when you're actually on the roof, because, you know, they understand this is kind of a project, an adventure, being up on a roof, and also, you know, they understand you got to take your precautions. Not everybody is as fearless on the roof, and, you know, they can't just yell at you to go faster, do something better, and expect you to be able to do that because you're worried about falling off a roof.
So for you, what was the best and the worst part of roofing, so that people can figure out if they want to do this?
The best part of the roofing, I would say, is it was kind of an adventure being up on a new roof almost every day or every other day. You know, every roof is different steepness, different materials. You know, some are built, you know, in a really fun way. And also I love climbing. I'm not tall like this guy, I'm 5'6", so sometimes my insecurities would like make me feel happy when I could climb up something high. But so you know, that would probably be the best part, is, you know, it was a new house almost every day. The worst part I'd probably just have to say is like the pressure, especially when working in the rain, to try and get things done. And
Right.
everything's super slippery, and since it's raining, it's taking longer, and you're trying to get as many houses done as possible. And like, you may not get yelled at a lot, but you know, you can still feel, you know, your foreman is like wanting you to work faster. And so yeah, just the pressure and how miserable you can feel when it's raining.
Right. Now, out of 10, how many stars would you give to roofing?
I would give, for overall, 5 out of 10, but it all depends on what your goals are. Like, if you're a young guy and you're wanting to get married soon, or you got a high school sweetheart, or you just found out you're suddenly a dad now, this is a great job, just because, you know, you're able to make a decent amount of money, and you know, you can move up in a reasonable amount of time, whether it's from being a foreman, which you still have to work a lot, you know, up on the roof, or if you start your own company and do bids. So for those people,
So a solid 5.
yeah, I would give it a 5. But you know, for guys, I haven't seen too many women. I don't know how you feel about that, but it's just a fact. Not too many women are up to doing the roofing.
It can get hot in the summer, right? And then you've got ice in the winter.
Yeah,
all of that stuff.
When it's raining, it can be tough. When it was frosty, I've slipped off a roof. Actually, I didn't get hurt at all. But
Didn't you land on like a bag of leaves or something?
Well, I slid on a garbage bag that I was using to pick up leaves off the roof, because it was just a little cleaning when I first started. But I ended up landing on the back porch. But it can get really hot in the summer. Like, expect whatever temperature it is on the ground to be 15 degrees higher up on the roof.
Right. Now, what are your dreams after roofing? Now that you've left roofing, what are you gonna do from here?
Well, I quit roofing because I was expected to work from basically before sun up to basically after sundown, you know, at least 6 days a week, and that was a little bit much for me. I didn't want to see myself doing this for 40 years. So I ended up quitting that and immediately started going to college. So I'm working on classes. I'm planning on right now joining this fireman training at CCC, Clackamas Community College here in Oregon. And I might do that for a while, but my end goal is to be a writer. And
Nice.
there's still some skills I need to learn, so I can make money while being a firefighter, a wildland firefighter to be specifically, but you get a few months time off where I could go back and do classes during the winter. So
Cool. So putting out fires. So that's an important point for all you guys looking at possible jobs. This does not have to be your career. You can work in roofing or whatever it might be for even just 1 year, and then that gets you a bunch of experience. So you put it on your resume, and then you try something else, and that helps you figure out what you want to do. It's a lot better than just sitting on your couch in your room, because you've got cash and you're figuring yourself out as a person. So anything else?
no, I would just say, like, it's not a bad career. I mean, if you're capable of putting in the work, it's definitely very viable. You make a pretty good amount of money without, you know, having to pay for education. You may have to pay a few $100 up front for tools. It depends on who you're starting with. But yeah, overall, if you're a guy who's not afraid of heights and is strong, you know, you can make a pretty good living off of it.
Nice. All right, guys. With that being said, I will see you in the next video. And until next time, peace.
Bye.